hanging from the bookshelf in my office, I have beautiful lotus blossoms. From each one dangles a small banner that lists Falun Dafa's 3 admirable principles: truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. You know what I mean, those little beautiful blossoms. I am therefore always reminded of you every day, and reminded to pray for you and for freedom in China. But in addition to truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance, my experience with you over the past 12 years in which I have been privileged to speak at the annual rally have made me want to suggest 3 more principles for Falun Gong and for all of the Chinese people who stand up against oppression and persecution of the Chinese Communist Party. The first is courage. The courage of Falun Gong practitioners, of husbands and wives who resist the forced abortion and gendercide of baby girls, of democracy advocates, of Chinese Christians, the courage and ingenuity of those who have fought against the great firewall of China and provided internet freedom, not only to Chinese, but to Iranian freedom fighters and others, like the Tibetan and Uyghur activists. That courage is undeniable. The people of China courageously endure persecution, imprisonment, torture, and brutal death and organ harvesting in their freedom, their hunger for freedom. Where is the courage of the West, the courage of the US government to stand in solidarity with these freedom fighters and acknowledge that you are our true allies? The second principle is resilience. There is a saying, I survived the fire because the fire inside me burned brighter than the fire around me. That describes the brave and good Chinese people. They have survived the fire of communist oppression and brutality because the fire inside them, whether it be the hunger for freedom, the fire of God's Holy Spirit, or burning passion for what should be, burns brighter than the fire around them. Where's the fire in the West? You have it, you that come here to show your solidarity with your suffering brothers and sisters, but where is the passion of Western nations? Finally, the third principle that I connect to Falun Dafa and to all of the Chinese freedom fighters is inspiration. The people of China, Chinese Christian pastors and lay people suffering in prison and whose properties have been stolen or bulldozed, democracy activists arrested and tortured, people of Falun Gong wrenched from their families, are inspirational to those of us in the West who do not even realize how precious freedom is. At a time when delusional Westerners and corrupt media are promoting communist and socialist thinking. Thanks to the Dong movement, almost 3 million people have renounced the Chinese Communist Party. That is incredible. And of course, it has to do with the speaking of truth. Truthfulness, compassion, tolerance, courage, resilience, and inspiration. These are your guiding principles. And I'm honored to stand with you today. And we at the Institute on Religion and Democracy will do everything in our power to help wake the world to this horror of organ harvesting and the continuing persecution of Falun Gong and others who long for freedom. Thank you once again for allowing me to share this anniversary with you. May God bless you, and may God bless all the Chinese people.